Welcome to Bootstrap Businessmen, the podcast devoted to the aspiring entrepreneur on a shoestring budget. Here are your hosts, #1 best-selling fitness author Dale L. Roberts and the Midwest's best, Kevin S. Allen.
All right. Welcome to Bootstrap Businessmen, the podcast devoted to inspiring the aspiring entrepreneur within on a shoestring budget. I'm your host, Dale L. Roberts, and this is my good buddy, Kevin S. Allen, over out in the central Ohio, the humid, hot weather of Columbus. How you feeling, dude?
Great, man. 92 degrees here today, man. Balmy.
Woo!
Balmy, too. It rained a little bit this morning, so yeah, crazy. Dude, I'm pretty pumped about tonight, man, considering the show's brought to you by Powerade.
How did you arrange that? Because it just so happens that Muscle Farm is my sponsor today.
Nice, man. We're getting some sponsorships, folks.
But my question is, dude, with these sponsorships, how can people pick up these products, Kevin?
Dale, I'm glad you asked, because in the description below, isn't there a link? There's a link, I think. I think a link.
I think so. Yes, the link.
Yes.
The link in the description below. Hey, by the way, before we get on any further, dude, I got to give a big shout out to the people that have continued to support the Bootstrap Businessmen podcast here on YouTube. We'll get to the other platforms and such. But see, I'm the guy who's pretty much 90% responsible for the YouTube stuff because I put the video descriptions there. I put the thumbnails together, but you handle the heavy lifting for the actual distribution of the podcast. So I get to see that you guys are posting your views on there, and our good buddy Scott's one of the very few people that actually puts comments on there. And sometimes I think he tunes in live when he's working. Big shout out to you guys. I really mean that sincerely. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day, whether you're watching us for 2 minutes or you're watching us for 2 hours like it was last week. Dude, that was a fucking marathon, wasn't it?
Dude, honestly, it felt like about 20 minutes.
It really did.
Yeah, it went by so quick.
Well, it was so funny. Kelly said to me, she goes, "Do you feel better?" Because she heard everything that we were talking about. And truth be told, the second part, which was released on Sunday, okay, because we take the video off and then I split it into two. And the longer segment was released on Sunday, and that one was really primarily focused on direct sales business. And and gotta admit, you could tell anytime I go into dump mode, I start to get like that passion. I turn into a Sweet Lou promo where I'm just like, it's almost like you can hear me going, "Over at Mansfield Fairgrounds on Thursday, July 5th. Listen here, direct sales, you and me, one-on-one in the ring. And you know damn well that I'm going to be coming out victorious, and you're going to be leaving look like the weird son of a bitch that you are. See you there."
Nice. That was Sweet Lou, right?
Yeah. So to speak, I'm a little bit rusty, but for the most part, it's if I had more bullet points to work with, if I knew where I was, doing it. It's so funny. Here's a great wrestling story. So this was some time ago, and I was going to do. It was on American Lucha Corps. Lucha Corps was a fed that was run out of Bellefontaine, Ohio. My good buddy, here's my name drop, Sammy Callahan. And my other good buddy, here we go, another name drop, Dave Christ, two very big independent stars, amazing wrestlers in their own right. I have learned so much from both of them, and I even trained with Sammy back in, it was 2007, technically 2006, 2007, because we did Shark Tank together to a certain extent. But in any event, I worked the American Lucha Corps show. Okay, it was a tag match. I love tag matches. It was just something I've always gravitated to. I love the psychology of tag matches. It draws me in a little bit more than what singles matches do.
Sure.
But don't get me wrong. I love all wrestling in general, but tag matches, it's just fascinating to me how you can do it. And being a wrestler, I love the challenge of actually building a great story within a tag match. And especially I was primarily a heel wrestler. I did a lot of bad guy type things. Well, in any event, that night, Dustin and I had worked a match as the Messiahs of the New Age. And I can't remember. It was great fun, but I remember this for sure, that Josh Abercrombie, Josh is from up north in Michigan.
Okay.
He goes by Josh Raymond, I think now. Great wrestler. He's actually trained a few people in the Midwest area. But nice guy. Wait, was it Josh Abercrombie? Yeah, I think it was Josh. And I think there was a shower stall. I know it sounds kind of weird, Josh, me, and a shower stall, but it was nice because it was at this fairgrounds thing type thing. Yeah, in Bell Fountain. And I was taking my boots off and such, and I was down to my trunks. My pads are off, so there's literally just trunks and probably a thong underneath that helps support my stuff. And I'm getting ready to take a shower, and this guy comes up to me, and he booked me on his particular show. It was a tribute show, and actually that specific tribute show was the nail in the coffin of the Sweet Lou Roberts, because that was the show where I went from being slightly injured to fucked up. But the tribute show was well worth it. A kid that was involved in a vicious car accident, and his family was having to kind of cope with not only the loss of their son and their family member and their friend, but also the bills that were just piled up in regards to him. So I didn't hesitate. Anytime it came to tribute shows or any kind of fundraisers, my name typically went into the hat, and I never got paid a dime, and I'm not saying that to I didn't get paid a dime, damn it. No, I knew what I was getting into, and I fully offered myself. And there were some wrestlers that said, no, I don't think so, because you have what's called a bump card so many times that you can be able to fall on your back before your body says, So obviously my bump card kind of got full. Yeah, I took a lot of unnecessary bumps. But that particular evening, it was at the American Lucha Core show. This kid comes up, he was a younger kid, has camcorder in hand. I'm doing like this big, where camcorders are like the size of a fist now these days. And he comes up and he's just like, hey Lou, could you record a promo? And I'm like, well shit, literally I've just got my trunks on. I'm like, well, as long as you're not shooting down here, so I look like a complete fucking weirdo. It shows the shower stalls, but it worked for the camera angle. So he's like, kind of doing like a, panning around. You could probably find this somewhere on YouTube, I'm sure, because you look up Sweet Lou Roberts wrestling tribute show or something. I can't remember what it was, but any event, he comes up. Josh is over to the side here, and Josh always had tremendous respect for him. We crossed each other in some paths and such, but I always got to watch his matches, and I always studied anybody that I could, and he was one of the ones I would, and he actually was there for this particular promo. And it's so funny, this kid comes up, he's like, all right, here we go. This is the title, because it took me a couple times. Typically, I was a one-take warrior. You come up, you tell me, what's the name of your show? You tell me where it's located at. You tell me the date. And if you can tell me who I'm facing, then I'm going to work all four of those things in there. And the fifth thing is you always say your name at least twice during a promo.
Sure.
Because you got to assume that anybody's watching a video, they may not know who you are. So you just, right away, hey, this is Sweet Lou Roberts. I'm coming to you live from Bell Fountain, Ohio. One of those type of things. And the name of the show was Live, Love, Rock, and Wrestling. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Live, Love, Rock, and Wrestling. And it was so funny because actually I stuttered over it a couple. I was like, live, what is that again, dude? And he's like, Live, Love, Rock, and Wrestling. I was like, okay, you're not doing these like outtakes, are you? Because I was like, normally I'm known for doing one take. And he's like, no. So finally, I was like, God, I really wanted to get showered off. Because anytime there was a shower available at anywhere, I was like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. I was like, I'll drop dong anywhere. I don't give a shit. So I can get washed off, get into some nice clean clothes and, get back into regular life. So any event, I just, boom, automatically put it right in front of my face. I knew exactly is Live, Love, Rock, and Wrestling. And I think that night I was taking on Marion Fontaine, a Cleveland wrestler. Marion, another just tremendous guy, I was so fortunate, I couldn't have been injured in a better match. I couldn't have been, seriously injured in a better match because Marion was wonderful to work with. Smaller fella. He has a gimmick that is laughable at times, but in the same instance, he could be very serious and he can actually really portray why he was in that ring. But yeah, that particular match, I went for a sunset flip power bomb from the top rope. Okay, say that 10 times fast. Well, typically, I could flip over top of the person and land on my feet. I've done the move a million times. And if you've watched WWE, anybody's watched WWE recently, if you have seen footage of Seth Rollins doing that overseas, he actually ended up blowing out his knee doing it. because he landed on the instep of his foot, and what ended up happening is his knee just collapsed, and he blew out his ACL, MCL, and meniscus all in one shot. For me, I landed straight on my ass. Okay, so it was almost a seated powerbomb type thing. I was not prepared for that. Otherwise, I would have landed a little bit more squarely on my hips instead of right on my ass. And at that time, I was already starting to kind of get an inkling of issues in my low back, where I started feeling that all too familiar feeling of sciatica shooting down my left leg. And I was like, okay, I just need to go a little easier in the mattress. And I remember even I said to Marion, I was like, let's try to take it easy. And I even suggested sunset flip power bomb. He's like, no, let's keep that out. I was like, no, dude, I'll be okay. I was just like, are you comfortable? And he's like, yeah, I'm comfortable with it. He's like, I just don't want you to get hurt. He's like, we can just do this on the fly and just keep it simple. He's like, we can do a comedy match if you want. And I was like, no. Me, I was just kind of like, I had to overwork it. Despite the fact that I was getting no payday, I just wanted to give the people that came to that particular tribute show, not only the friends and family, something to remember, but also just the fans that actually paid money to come in. I wanted to give them something memorable. Oh, yeah, I gave them something memorable. You ready for this shit? Okay. Not only did I fuck myself up, okay, and I can blame it. For so many years, I blamed it on the spongy ropes that were in the corner there. They were spongy. But the bottom line is when you know that ropes are spongy, you don't do shit that's high risk like that. Sure. And that's really not high risk like a dive would be, but it's high risk enough because you're on the top rope flipping over top of the person. Shooting to land on your feet, you're grabbing the person by the hips, okay? And you're delivering him down, okay? And I got to try to get him to where he's landing flat on his back in front of me. Like I said, a million times. Did it with so many people before. Never, ever fucked it up. But this particular time, flipped over, feet aren't there, and I'm literally going, boom, land right on my ass. Bolt of electricity just shoots up my spine and right down my leg. And I just literally, I think the very first thing I said is, I'm fucked. I literally said, I'm fucked. But in the same instance, as I say that, it kind of, you get a replay, okay? Because everybody kind of selfishly thinks when they get into some kind of like an accident or predicament, they're going to be kind of going, it's like in an accident. Your first inkling is, am I okay? Am I shot? Am I stabbed? Am I bleeding? You're kind of doing like this internal run through. But then I do a rewind in my head. Marion gets bounced off his dome because I don't have him safely. I've got him by the hips, but since I over-rotated, naturally, he's coming down instead of flat like this, he's going down head first. So he's getting jackknifed onto his head. And I apologize profusely. Marion's like, I'm okay. You all right, man? I'm so sorry. And he's, going on, I'm sorry. He's coming. I'm like, dude, that wasn't your fault. I was like, I felt bad. I'm like, I should be the one apologizing to you. I could have broke your fucking neck or knocked you out. And, thankfully, Marion had a thick head. He lasted. And there's a long-winded story to Sweet Lou Roberts promos and how I used to deliver them and such. And I just remember Josh Abercrombie on that particular American Lucha Core show. I did it in one take. He's just like, dude, that was a good fucking promo. I was like, I walked out. I was like, thanks. I said like that. I walked into the other room. I was like, yeah.
You're like, yeah, I know. You're welcome.
That's the funny thing is you got to try, to portray a particular character when you're out in front of everybody. But you get back in that locker room, you pull that kind of shit with them, man. Ooh, you end up with shit in your bag, dude. You'll end up with shit, literal human feces in your bag. I could really go on a rant, but today I really actually, we kind of got off track, but that's okay. That's us. We're running for things. Before I do get further off track, I was talking a little bit about our supporters. I really do appreciate it. I do see the numbers. The Cavi Sonio's show, gosh, she has, how many? Are we up to like 1,000 views by now on that particular one?
I know it was getting close. I haven't checked it in a couple days, but yeah, it was pushing 1,000. Crazy. Yeah.
You got your phone in your hand, don't you, dude?
Yeah, I'm looking it up real quick.
You're buzzing your headphones. That's why. Whoa. Yep. That's exactly what I was hearing. So, but any event, yeah, it's. I know last we saw it was like 700 or 800 views. So big thank you to Cavi. I don't know if Cavi's watching by any stretch. Really, just tremendous. I feel like I got a booger. I need to get close and see if I do. No, I don't. Okay, we're good. I mean, shoot, I just go ahead, just get my damn shirt out and go ahead and clean that thing out. But any event, so there's been some viewers, but we do have some haters.
We do have some haters.
We have some haters. Now we don't have trolls. Let's get that. You know, trolls are a progression of haters. Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's like almost like, you know, a 1-star general of the haters. We got some haters. Okay. We appreciate you guys when you hit the thumbs up. So if you happen to be listening to this, even if you listen for 5 minutes on YouTube, do me a huge favor. Click that thumbs up. It really helps us out. And, you know, if you're not able to support us through the Amazon link in the description below, one of the greatest things you can do is A, subscribe, B, share, and C, most importantly, is click that thumbs up. Now, for those of you that clicking the thumbs down, I'm not going to be bent on you. No, I'm not going to lose sleep over you, but I do see you. I do notice you. And you're definitely entitled to your opinion. And quite frankly, you're entitled to mine. So quite frankly, those of you that are listening to this podcast, you probably won't be able to see this. Okay? That's for the ones doing the thumbs down. Okay? So you can go ahead, you can put your thumbs down on there. I just want to let you know that if you're doing it when we're doing live, listen, ding dong, we take this episode down because we end up repurposing it with the commercials. So wait till we put it up and then put your thumbs down on it. Okay?
Yeah.
So there you go. If you're going to be a hater, get the shit right. Okay?
Hate on the finished product.
Yes. And so that leads me to, of course, over on the other podcast areas. So you don't need to look at it right now, but just think off the top of your head from the last time that you looked at it, the various platforms that we are available on, from Stitcher to iTunes to TuneIn to SoundCloud. Of those particular platforms, where are we getting the most traffic at? Where's the most hits and the most listens?
SoundCloud in particular is one. And then I know TuneIn is starting to really take over.
Nice.
Yeah, but with SoundCloud, honestly, man, it's anywhere between 30 to 50 listens per day.
Tremendous. Well, that's awesome. I really do appreciate it. So if you are listening to us on SoundCloud or TuneIn or even any one of those, every last little bit counts. And sure. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I really appreciate it. It was our vision all along for Kevin and I to really just, first of all, let you listen to us talk around and just pal around and be dickies and, you know, share a little bit of what has been successful. I come from the world of self-publishing, okay? If you talk to me at any given point, it's going to be something related to self-publishing at some point. But, you know, you've got Kevin, who's starting to be wooed over to the dark side of the force in self-publishing, but Kevin's been dealing with his own business. And I thought that the marriage of our two ideas worked really well together. And
sure,
it was really, dude, I hate to say this, and it's not like I'm going to be sitting here, you know, glad-handing you or blowing smoke up your ass. We smoked today's interview. I felt so really good about this interview that we did on Winsome Media Group through Juliet Clark. We had actually interviewed her. Yeah, it was wonderful, man. I think that our chemistry worked really well. In fact, dare I say, that show was probably better than any of our ones we've done on Blog Talk before. What the fuck?
I don't know, man. Yeah, well, honestly, I don't know why. I mean, nothing was really different. You know what I mean? It was different talking on the phone versus being on video. But I don't know. Dude, that hour went by so quick. I was like, holy crap. We've been rolling for 45 minutes. And she's like, well, we're getting close to the hour. I was like, man, we got so much more to go.
What a host. Juliet did just a wonderful job. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any links. But in the event that comes available, stay tuned to us over on Facebook. If you go to our like page at Bootstrap Businessmen, and you click that like and turn the notifications on. Hopefully, the notifications come on automatically anyways when you click like. We'll post that link. Chances are pretty likely, and I'm speaking to you, Kevin, here, and I'll share it with the audience as well. Juliet actually had provided that for some of her students within her self-publishing program, and that's who was tuned into the show. And that's why when I advertised it on my Facebook wall and into the Hustle Project, when people clicked on that, it actually turned into a funnel. So in order to actually get into that particular webinar, and I'm using quotations here for those of you listening, the only way you could get on that webinar was you had to actually sign up your email and such. I'll let you know that I've signed up for Juliet Clark's stuff. It's not spammy.
No,
she gives you good information. I openly tell you I unsubscribed a long time ago just because I'm very selective about the things that I put into my email box, and I don't just strictly send spam to a folder anymore. I used to do that to where I was just like, yeah, if I feel like it, I'll look at it. I never look at it. I've got a sweetlouroberts@gmail account, and honestly, I was sending people over. I'm starting to sound like Kevin. Honestly. I was sending people, I was sending some of that stuff over, and
seriously,
seriously. So, see, if you're gonna do catchphrases, it's honestly for Kevin, it's so for me. I say so a lot. But at any rate, I don't use spam emails anymore either. I say, hey, I opt out or not. Some of these subscriptions that I stay open to are, I love Matt Stone. He's not the South Park creator, but Matt Stone, the self-publisher. He actually does fitness, and he's actually infamously known, and I'm not sure if everybody in the world knows this, he's buck flogging. Buck flogging is freaking hilarious. If you don't have the opportunity, oh my gosh. That also brings me to the YouTube, and we'll get to that in just a minute about YouTube. Buck flogging, if you guys are in self-publishing, or if you just enjoy to read something in regards to entrepreneurship, grab a book by Buck Flogging.
Oh yeah, great stuff.
The guy is hilarious. And Matt Stone typically is just pretty, even keeled. But when he goes into that Buck Flogging pseudonym, oh my Lord.
Good stuff. So basically what you're saying is when the people click on the link below, they should go in and type in Buck Flogging.
Yeah.
Highly recommend How to Quit Your Job in 6 Months.
Yes, 3-part series actually, and that's free. That's free, believe it or not.
Oh, it's free?
It's free. And if you do go to Amazon, go to the Audible, and it's my understanding that old Buck actually does his own voiceover on the audiobooks. Really? So I highly recommend, if you don't want to read, you can always listen to it during, your workout or your commute to work, or just in general, just sit down and listen to him. His stuff is off the hook awesome. I mean, he is very funny, but he also gives you, he delivers an informative message.
It's a good flow.
Yeah, and on a funny platform where he's funny. It's like, there's some people, my good friend Lorraine Nelson detests Buck Flogging. She doesn't like the way he is. She doesn't like the cocky, arrogant type, my dick is bigger than yours type thing. Yes, he does do a lot of my dick is so big type jokes. So yes, it's not PG. It's not safe for work.
No.
Do not, don't be listening to any Buck Flogging when you're around anybody at work or anybody who gets highly offended by, sexual innuendos and curse words, because he pulls no punches, and I love it. He's probably one of my favorite authors. Yeah, I love it. And actually, not too long ago, one of my other favorite self-publishers, Tom Corson Knowles, had struck up a partnership with Matt Stone. I got an email from them. That's another person I keep on my emails, because I'll stop and I'll read them, because Tom and Buck have something in common. I'm sorry, guys, if I keep dipping down and shining you bright, but that's where my water's at, and I don't have anywhere else to put it. So what do I do with my hands? But Tom and Buck keep their emails short. And if you're in email marketing, I really highly recommend that you just try it. Brevity is going to be a strong suit. Now, this is, me pointing one finger at you and 3 pointing at me, because I'm a writer and I sometimes get carried away, but I've discovered that my audience actually was appreciating some of the longer content, and my open rates have actually increased, Kevin. About 3 months ago, I had hundreds upon hundreds of people on my email list, and my engagement rate started out a little over a year or so ago. Yeah, about a year ago was when I started doing the actual email list, because it was like Jason was like, stop procrastinating, get to it. So I started building the email list, and it got up. And It started out, my engagement rate was amazing. Opens were like 60 to 80% every week. I would send out something every week. I was super happy about it. Click-throughs were pretty good. I didn't have a clue on monetizing it. So like click-throughs would go to like things like free books and stuff, and I wasn't putting in any affiliate type things. Well, as time was going on and my list was growing larger, my engagement rate was dropping off. Not only were my click-throughs, it wasn't so much that the click-throughs were dropping down. Okay, I had links within there. So the clicks means that a person has already opened the email, they see a link and they click on it and they go to it. So hopefully when somebody clicks on it, they go to an offer of some sort. So that way you're able to kind of monetize that. Well, in any event, clicks were going from right about a 15 to 20%. It was amazing. Okay, industry standard, from my understanding that I've heard, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, is about 10 to 15% click-through rate is pretty good, and then a 35% open rate is typically good. Okay, now it's going to vary per market, but that's the generalized I've heard. You know, across the board, if you're an email marketer, those are percentages you want to see. You want to have 35% of them opening up. My shit got down to 1 week. You ready for this? 8%.
Wow.
8%.
I wonder what changed.
I don't know. It's literally like I didn't change my message. My messages were really long. I felt like I was delivering value. And the funny thing is, actually, if anybody tunes in to my blog over at dalelroberts.com, plug, the blogs that are coming out and have been coming out over the last 2 months and are going to be going all the way through October, those are emails. Those are emails that I put out. I sat down and I literally took hours pumping this stuff out because I was like, man, I'm going to deliver some great value. But unfortunately, here's what happens. And see, I was talking to one of my readers out in Pittsburgh, a nice gentleman. He gave me such a touching backstory to him. You know, he's had some physical struggles and he enjoyed one of my books. And the mere fact that he'd reached out to me meant a lot to me. And him sharing a story about his physical issues that he was having, really, it tugged on my heartstrings. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to hook him up with the 3 Keys to Greater Health and Happiness, my first book, because it's got everything for a beginner. And it's got something for people that might not have as much physical prowess as, say, you and I. Someone that can do things from a chair, that can't get down onto a floor and do exercises. And so I sent that to him, which, by the way, dude, I didn't even ask for it. He goes over, he gives me an instant 5-star. You know, Dale L. Roberts is wonderful. He's passionate about what he shares. He's like, I have issues, you know, with my knees going down to the floor, and this has got everything I need. And I loved it. It was one of the greatest ways for me to get connected with somebody. But brain's going all over the place. We need to really
monkey mind.
Yeah, monkey mind. I don't know. I think it's more like, you know, I get all over the place. I do want to talk a little bit about something today. It's specifically about
sex.
We want to, it's about sex. It's about monetizing. Okay. We're going to talk a little bit about monetizing because I think that I got a couple of good examples.
Is that from the Latin root meaning money?
Meaning money, yes, for sure. I'm closing out a window here so I make sure that we're not taking too much bandwidth. So here's the deal, is I was talking about email marketing, and I think one day you and I can probably just sit down and I'll talk about what my email marketing plan is, but that's going to require a whole episode in itself. But today I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about what we are doing, okay? This visual medium. And if anybody's listening to this on the podcast, I'm going to do my best to kind of be descriptive as possible. That way you can kind of take notes. You may want to come back and just, you know, write down some stuff. And of course, you're going to eventually click the link in the description below to Amazon, and you can actually do a little bit of due diligence. Now, if you just want to skip the link, you just go to Amazon.com. That's fine. But do me a favor, if you do make purchases, please go through that description because it really does help us out. We're not going to make millions of dollars, but you're going to see why, because we're going to go into an upgrade for Kevin. And this is really on the top of my mind. This motherfucker, let me tell you something about Kevin. He's the hardest son of a bitch, hardest son of a bitch too, the hardest working son of a bitch in this business right now because he's got 3. Not 1, not 2, not 3, yes, 3. Not 1, that's going to be good for the video. Not 1, not 2, but 3 hot new releases right now on Amazon in books because he worked his ass off to get to that point. You know, he asked me some time ago about self-publishing. You know, how do we get more income flowing in? I was like, okay, let's look at what your success is. We looked at the particular book that he is having success in. I was like, I hate to tell you, this is your success model. Yeah, I'm like, you just got to scale it, and I'll be damned, you scaled it, and you've done really good. Congratulations to you. All that to say that's driving some income. Unfortunately, our audience won't know, at least not right now, what your assumed name is, because we just kind of want to keep things a little bit protected. So
it's a little tongue in cheek right now. So
right, exactly. We'll just kind of say this, that it's guarded for good reason. We're not doing any black hat tactics. I'm gonna say that right now.
It's all
just
legit.
It's a privacy issue. How about that? There we go. It's a privacy issue. So in any event, it's Kevin S. Allen's World of Dick Pics.
It's called Big Cocks, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
Big Cocks.
It's nothing but roosters in it.
If you like farm animals.
So videos. So about a week ago, actually on Thursday to be exact. Let's back it up actually a little bit so I can give a little bit of backstory. So I've got a YouTube channel for not only my fitness, but also for self-publishing. And truth be told, I love my fitness, but I've never really paid attention to the video medium. I'm the type of person that I really do thrive in front of a video camera. And I just have the gift of gab. I'm able to kind of talk the way I do. And if you give me a script, I can even do it even better. You know, you put that thing right there in front of me and it looks like I'm talking right into the camera. So with that being said, I was putting up YouTube videos, but for the most part, I was bloviating, kind of like what we do in our show. And no real direction. There's a lot of uhs and ums. And something I was discovering with a lot of popular YouTube videos is what Jason told me is called jump cuts. Now, jump cuts essentially is cutting out all of the shit in between. So you notice how I just paused right there? That would be cut out. It would almost be like I didn't take a breath. In fact, It's so funny. Sometimes what I'll do is I will take my video footage into iTunes. I will zoom in on it as much as I can, and I look for the portion in the audio track that actually dips down. Okay, you get the valley that drops down. I'll look for that. I'll go clip, clip, cut it out, and I'll pull it out and paste it all together. Nice. And so that's pretty much how it develops a jump cut. So you can actually see that in practice over on my YouTube channel at DaleLRoberts.com/YouTube. That's at Self-Publishing with Dale L. Roberts. I talk a little bit more about self-publishing. Now, I got with my good friend Jason. Jason's always been so great for direction. He helped me out, become very successful in self-publishing, and he also has about 6,000 followers or subscribers, on YouTube, and has hundreds of thousands of views. He's been really successful, and he kind of put that on the back burner for a while. He's back and cooking on the front burner again, man. He's great at what he does, and that's actually how I discovered Jason. Actually, Kelly discovered Jason, and then she turned me on to his videos, and then I started following. I'm like, this dude's pretty cool. When I got to know him personally, he was even cooler. You know, I love that guy. His sense of humor is just right on par with us. He slays me. But in any event, I had a serious conversation with him. I was like, man, I want to get this YouTube thing up and going because, ultimately I want to set myself up as a authority of self-publishing and get it to where, of course, people can start to get value out of what I have to deliver and also understand that there is other options available in coaching as well as a self-publishing university that he and I put together, which, by the way, is going pretty good. We actually have a handful of students in there. Save that for some other time. Maybe we can get Jason on one of these days, but he's out with his boy at Dave & Buster's right now.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, dude, can you adopt me?
I want to go to Dave & Buster's.
Yeah, I was like, shoot, man, I'll come on along. Yeah, no problem, no problem. But even, so he took a look at my channel, and he looked at, he looked at my channel, and he was like, okay, your banner's garbage, your profile pic is shit. He's like, you have no links, but one thing he gave me kudos was you got a welcome video. It's like, at least when people come on here, your welcome video starts up, it tells what your channel is about, which I'll be fixing that pretty soon. That'll probably be changed out to the new kind of theme. The next thing he was like, your thumbnails. He's like, I get that you like monkeys. He's like, that's awesome. He's like, it's cute. He's like, but unfortunately, the random viewer doesn't get it. They don't understand it. You've got something related to self-publishing when they see a monkey. He's like, your thumbnails need to have a shot of your head. He's like, if you can, get it to where you can kind of just pull out just the image of your face and such. And he's like, get it to where you can see the white of your eyes. And he's like, and if you're mid-sentence in something, he's like, that's probably perfect. He's like, and then you're going to take the title of your video, and he's like, don't go crazy on your fonts. He's like, get it to where it's readable and have a drop shadow on it. And he's like, and he goes, here's something that, I'm not sure if you could do it. He goes, get like a background that's almost like a sunburst of some sort or a spiral. He's like, it just attracts the attention. So of course you got to see that particular video here. Let me go into a screen share.
I was going to say, can you play a little bit of it?
I can probably play just a little bit of it. Let's see here. I'm going to hide that. Let's go over here. Let's go into YouTube. I'm not sure if it's going to, yeah, go figure. It's on Bootstrap Businessmen on right now. So let me see if I can switch it over to.
All you got to do is click on Dale Roberts. There it is. Right there.
Wrong one. Damn it. I just clicked on the fitness one.
Self Pub. Right there. Nice.
Okay. All right. So here's my channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dale likes wrestling.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. You can always see shoot interviews because I'll listen to those in the background. So you can see what I was kind of talking about here. The self-publishing tips on marketing your self-published book. I did the drop shadow. I made it pop just a little bit. You can see the background work perfectly for what I was doing. I have my hand up. I'm in the mid-sentence of talking and such. And actually, if you end up looking at somebody else is a bit more popular on this one is Stefan Palernos. He's insanely successful. There we go. I don't ever know how to spell his last name. It's really out there. But Stefan is wildly successful in self-publishing. And any rate, Stefan, excuse me, I say Stefan. Stefan, any rate, though, you can see he does the same thing. Here's a picture of his head. He's got the thing here. He doesn't have the spiral background, but I think for Stefan he's already wildly successful. So, I mean, look, 3 days ago, he's already has 5,400 views on this. He has, let's see here, 109,000 subscribers. So I'm sure he's able to monetize this business. Rather than me playing this video, because, I've seen it a million times, I'm just going to tell people to go over to, DaleLRoberts.com/YouTube. I don't have anything big. It's not like Stefan's channel where I have thousands of views. Let me go back over here. Hey, there I am. Any event, I don't have hundreds of views, but something that happened is a trigger went off in my head. I was talking to Jason. This was a couple weeks ago prior to this first video, this new change with the banner being changed. You guys saw that, the icon being changed, me putting links in there, and of course changing the actual thumbnails of each one of those things. So it actually started on This Pack Thursday. But before that, I was really kind of flummoxed, okay? I was a little bothered because, what's going to make me any different than, say, a Stefan or a Dave Kozil or even a Jason Brock? What do I bring to the table? Yes, I've got a unique voice and I've got a different kind of energy that I bring to the table. But in the same instance, how can I be heard above the noise? And I was like, it just drives me crazy because it's kind of like what Stone Cold says. He went into the wrestling business, not just simply to make a living. He went into the wrestling business to become the best at what he was making a living at doing. He wanted to go there to become a world champion. He wasn't there just to become some jobber or some kind of a tag team champion only. He was going for the big time. Now, nothing against anybody who is for a living losing in wrestling. Okay, someone has to lose in wrestling. Let's just go ahead and put it that way. But he always says this. Look, anything he went into to be the very best. And so that is exactly my take when it comes to YouTube. Sure, maybe I was only getting about 4 views over the course of a week on a particular video. Sometimes I get 16 views. But here's where the tipping point happened. The other thing he told me was, don't be afraid to share your stuff. He's like, you got great valuable content. And he's just like, if you can, he's like, start doing the jump cuts. I was like, oh man, that stuff drives me crazy, but I know what you mean, and it's pretty simple. And I pretty much took everything he said. But at any rate, I'm getting ready to sit down and actually write up a script. Okay, so this is what happens. I get a script, okay, and actually I have something that's called, it's essentially like a teleprompter on here. Let me see what the name of the program is. It is actually Simple Teleprompter. Free app. Super, super simple to set up. I went ahead and set it up on that, which actually I think I used another program at this time, but this app actually turns out even easier. It's really cool. But in any event, I took that, I put my script onto there, I put it on my gooseneck selfie thing, and I put it over top of my camera here. And that way it looked like I'm looking directly into the camera. Now, prior to that, getting everything set up for a script, I was frustrated. I go and I meditate. Because I was just like, I can't go record a video, completely pissed off. I'm like, this is self-publishing, you stupid bitch! Because that's sometimes where I get really wired up and I start to turn into this, this sweet Lou character. And after a while, people can kind of read. 80% of communication is body language, and you can't hide that type of a body language. Sure, the energy is going to be up there, but people don't want to tune in. Well, some people do, but people don't want to tune into somebody who's being pissy and doesn't really give you good value and insults your intelligence. Now, that being said, I meditate and I get up and it hits me. Boom. Okay. I thought about this. Okay. Now, eventually, yes, I'll try to monetize YouTube. And I'm sure eventually we'll be able to monetize YouTube. To a certain extent, we do, since we have the description and the link below for Amazon. It seems like that. I think we should go for like 10 plugs on this in the hour. But I decided I actually had conferred with another person doing YouTube. He does a channel called 1% Better. His name's Brandon Nankaville. Brandon actually does summaries of famous books and such. And it's really cool. He has this little whiteboard type thing, and he walks through it. Really cool. Guy's from South Australia. But he had actually said in one group where he's just like, don't try monetizing your stuff until you have 100 subscribers or more. Because he's like, unfortunately, if you have these ads popping up on your stuff, people are going to be turned off to that. And they're just going to go, they'll just shut off your channel. Whereas if you can just try to give it to them without any of those barriers, they're going to be more susceptible to actually tuning in and paying attention to that. So I took that idea.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we won't be monetizing anymore on Bootstrap, having the ads. I won't put it up anymore. So that's my promise to you guys. There might be some that are still on old videos. My apologies. I'm not going to go back and waste my time on that. But on future videos, at least until we break a certain amount of subscribers, I'm not going to touch it because there's no sense in doing it, because from what Brandon was saying, it's 1,000 views. 1,000 views will typically get you about $1. He says now that varies. It's going to vary from one person's channel to the next. If people actually click through on the ads and things like that. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'd rather get 1,000 views than 2 views and people that are pissed off that we have too many commercials on our stuff. So that's where I went ahead and snatched that down. But in any event, a light bulb goes off in my head. I've been following a guy on YouTube. He is insanely successful right now. He actually has been on social media. He was really big on Vine for a minute there. And actually he switched over to Snapchat and has been doing a lot of Snapchatting and such. I downloaded the app. I have to be honest with you, it just kind of goes over my head. I would like to understand it a little bit better, but it's kind of a priorities type thing. And I'm trying to really grasp YouTube first before I start looking at any other kind of mediums. But anyway, I found him on there. His name is Joe Sonigato. Joe is hilarious. Hilarious. His dry sense of humor, his delivery, young gentleman from New York. And he just gives social commentary on different things, pictures. He has one he released, I think today, was on people of Craigslist. And he'll pull up Craigslist ads and such, and talk about those things. And he does the jump cuts. And I don't know that he's doing any kind of script per se. He seems kind of natural when he flows, but it's very possible though that he could probably sit there, look at the script, and then go ahead and just read it. Or he could be doing the same thing as I'm doing with the teleprompter right in front of him, and it looks like he's looking right directly into the camera. But at any rate, let me go over to Joe here now. Kevin, if for some reason we get disconnected. When I replug in my headphones, just drop off and then just reconnect like you did before. So I'll keep rolling. For some reason you end up dropping off. So I'm gonna go switch over to Joe, and let's go here, screen share. I'm hoping that this will share just fine here. We're gonna go over to Joe. Okay, so this is on Joe Sonigato's page. Can you still hear me, bro?
I gotcha.
Okay, awesome, very good. So Let's go ahead and just make the screen a little bit bigger. Can you see that okay?
Yep.
Awesome. So here we go. Here's
Good
Joe.
news. I have a bunch of new reasons why you should never shop on Craigslist. Baby shoes, never worn. Shoes have been in ass. You put the baby shoes in your ass? Why the fuck would you put a baby shoe in your ass? Shoes, I'm sorry, not shoe. You said shoes have been in ass. So that means plural. Both shoes. You took both and shoved them in your fucking ass. You see, this is why you gotta read the fine print on shit. Because you see the title, it says shoes never worn. And you're like, that is amazing. New shoes. They've never been worn before. I think I'll buy that. And then you read the fine print and you realize Lonely Jeffrey's been shoving these shoes in his You know, the fact that they've never been worn is fucking insane. Because then you have to assume that this person went to the baby section of a shoe store with no intention of buying these for a baby. He took them off the shelf and was like, "You're gonna straighten my ass later. I need a place to park and live in my."
I gotta pause it. Of course, this is fucking too good. I mean, it's Joe's fucking delicious.
I've seen him before, man, but I can never remember his name.
Yes, Joe Santagato. Like Kelly and I woke up on a Saturday or a Sunday. We binge watched him on my mobile device, and we just died. And after a while, the thing is though, you watch too many Joe videos. It's like if you watch about 6 of them in a row, after a while, you stop laughing because the man just comes off very cynical. It's funny at first, but you can only take it in spoonfuls before you're kind of like, okay, Joe, I get it. So let's just listen to just a little bit more, and I'm going to tell you just a little more what I discovered about Joe and how he monetizes this.
My 24-foot van. In exchange, I will teach you real and true magic and pay you some rent. You know, if I had to take a guess on whether this guy's a magician or not, I would say no fucking shot. He doesn't really look like a magician. He looks like an alcoholic, abusive father from like a football movie. Stop fumbling the ball, Jason! So he doesn't really look like a magician, but he has this weird ability to make my entire body itchy if I look at him straight in the eyes. So if that's part of his act, then wow, I'm impressed. But listen, I like magic just as much as the next guy, all right? But I'm not going to let the fucking wedding singer over here park his van on my You gotta pull rabbits out of a hat. J.O. on rails.
Oh my sweet lord.
Nice.
Yes, that's Joe Santagato. So let me go back into stop screen sharing so we go back here. Am I echoing on your end?
No.
Okay, good. I'm just going to go ahead and keep my headphones unplugged because we're going to share another form of monetizing. So let me know if you get any kind of issues on your end. So Joe, believe it or not, if you actually go into his channel, he actually has 2 channels based to Joe Santagato. So if you search it up, you'll see 2 different Joe Santagatos. He actually has another channel called Extra Joe, where he actually puts a lot of his extra videos. And I don't know if it's fans or if it's him that puts it together, but there are ones where it's like Vines and some of his Snapchats that are shared on there. And they put them together. And so the Vines are hilarious. He'll have his brother, he'll have his mom on. Sometimes his mom is so sweet and so nice. And he'll say some fucked up shit to her. And she's just kind of like, oh, she just plays along with it, you know. But it's really good. He gets together with his family. He's
hilarious, man.
Go into his description, and there was actually a stretch there. If you go probably about 2 or 3 years ago, he had an actual sponsorship through Audible, okay, and which you and I should probably entertain. And he essentially said, well, look, if you go to audible.com/Santagato, and you can get a free membership for 30 days, and you can get 1 book free. And that's a normal deal. And actually, we can do that through Amazon Associates. But I thought it was kind of cool that he had audible.com/Santagato. So maybe we should get like something like audible.com/Bootstrap or something like that. See if we can look that up. And because Audible's awesome. You and I.
Oh, love it.
It's good stuff. Yeah, I don't listen to music anymore during workouts. I actually just listen to Audible books. Love audiobooks. It actually helps me kind of learn. It helps me focus for some reason, and I put it at 2 times speed, and it does the same thing that heavy metal's done for me, which is it keeps me going at a good pace, and it keeps me really focused. And in between sets, I don't feel like I'm wasting time when I'm catching my breath. So, but anyway, he does that. He has other affiliates that he puts through his stuff, and as well, he monetizes that. Before that video had started up, I actually had shut off the commercial for it. So of course he's getting commercial monetization through YouTube. So And with that being said, let's see here. I'm going to go switch over here. You guys will just be looking at me for just a second. On his Craigslist one, he just released it. Only on Craigslist Part 2. It's on his homepage. Okay, you ready for this? Released 23 hours ago. 565,000 views.
Wow.
Yes.
That's insane.
It's probably just starting because here's the thing is his subscribers is at 1.4 million viewers on this channel alone. He's got another one, which is Sanagato TV. So you're going to look up Joe Sanagato and Sanagato TV. Sanagato TV is going to have the older episodes on. They're still just hilarious. Don't expect anything fantastic as far as production value goes, but he does a lot of jump cuts. And he's very deliberate in what he delivers because some stuff is hilarious. He had his brother. His brother was sitting there playing like Call of Duty or something on Xbox. And he purposely dresses up in like a full like dapper type suit. And he's like, acting like he's a reporter at one point trying to interview his brother. His brother's getting pissed. He's like, what are you doing? Get the fuck out of here, man.
It's like, so tell us.
yes, he's doing that. Hilarious stuff. But you can see that he's monetizing this. Because, I mean, let's just go with what Brandon kind of suggested being 1,000 views at right about $1 a piece. That means that over the last 23 hours, Joe has made right about $565 for that video alone.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. And I don't know how many videos Joe has on this channel altogether. Let me see if I can find out. Unfortunately, it doesn't say the exact number. I'm sure somebody could probably tell me. Yeah, it doesn't, unfortunately. But there's just, I scroll down, it says load more. And just on this page alone, there's it looks like about 24 videos. The Walmart ones are just laugh out loud hilarious. Let's see here some of the videos. One of them it's called What Did You Say? He does that one with his brother, and they put headphones on and play music, and what they try to do is say these fucked up words or phrases, and the person with the headphones on tries to guess what he's saying. And it's hilarity ensues. But that one has about 1 million views. 1 month ago, he had Idiots of the Internet Part 9. That's 2.3 million views. It's almost at 2.4 at this point.
Wow.
1.1 million. He has Idiots of the Internet. He has 3.1 on that one. So, I mean, let's just look at this monetization. If it's monetized according to kind of like that average that I was told about, he's making right about $1,200 for some of the videos, $900 for the one video. He made about $3,200. So I mean,
how often does he release the videos?
I think he does it every Tuesday. I think he does.
Tuesday?
He usually says it at the very end of the video. He's got his signature type stuff that he does with his video because he always finishes out with this, whatever.
So he's making $4,000 or $5,000 a month off YouTube.
Easily.
Roughly.
Remember, he's got his other channels as well.
Yeah.
Joe, he puts all his extra footage on there and his outtakes and stuff. Then he also has a podcast on, of all places. You ready for this?
No. SoundCloud. Okay.
It's actually called The Basement Yard. And I listened in on it. He actually co-hosts the show with a female comedian. I'm sorry I don't remember her name, and my apologies. Hopefully I'm not offending any Joe fans out there or anybody that's a fan of the comedian. I listened to it for probably about 20 or 30 minutes, and it just wasn't quite on par with what I was expecting from Joe. But that's the thing is when you get to producing these YouTube videos, jump cuts and stuff, it's a different medium. He doesn't have the ability to go out and take those outtakes out or those moments where he's breathing. He's just going from one cut to the next. So it keeps your brain kind of going, oh, shit. You're laughing at the one joke. He's already ready into his next one. So it's just like he's rapid fire sending it off. And his cadence, the way he delivers, you can see he's not a slow speaker. He's very articulate in what he says, but he's going from one thing to the next. So that was where I was just, my epiphany hits me to where I'm like, okay, I didn't want to be like Joe Sanagato. Obviously, he's so much different. And he's got a larger fan base. So he can probably sit there and bare ass cheek fart on his camera, get 1 million views.
Get 1 million views, yeah.
Yeah, he's got that luxury. For me, I've got, prior to this past Thursday, I had probably just short of 40. I think maybe like 36 subscribers. And I was getting average views like 10, maybe 15. There were some that were going up there over the first like 24 hours. And after that, I was just dropping off. Some videos were embarrassing. I went ahead and pulled them off because they has like 4 or 3 views. I was like, and you know me, like typically, or altogether for YouTube, when you put up a video, typically when you go through and edit it, it'll count that as a view when you go through and edit it.
Oh, okay.
And so when I'm seeing 3 or 4 views, that means I'm the only motherfucker that's watching it.
you went through and edited a few times, so yeah.
And so I'm feeling like a real ding dong. You know, you feel like, you know, that kid that's like, you know, he plays with himself, not in the sexual connotation. He plays by himself on the playground in school. You know, that kid, you know, he was just a little bit weird. No one was willing to pick on that motherfucker. And, you know, he was that one. If you want to go play with him, he's like, let's play wrestling. And, you know, and he thought wrestling was real, and he'd punch you straight in the face and try to pile drive you on the cement. So you were that kid, weren't you, Kevin? No? Okay, so you weren't that kid.
Maybe. I'm just kind of going to plead the fifth on that. Yeah, wait a minute. Wrestling's fake?
Yes. Another week in a row that I've called it fake, man. I'm already going to start getting death threats from
Please support the show by simply shopping at Amazon through the link in the show description. Every time you make a purchase through the provided link, a small percentage of sales goes back to support the show. There's no additional cost to you, and it greatly helps us out. Simply go to the link, bookmark it in your browser, and do your shopping on Amazon while you support the Bootstrap Businessmen podcast. Thanks for tuning in to Bootstrap Businessmen.